Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Strawberry Hill Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Simmons, and as always, we're here at the Shop Cigar Lounge. If you haven't came and seen us, please do. Please come see us. Please come enjoy the jazz music, the good entertainment, the good environment, so on and so on. But make sure, before we get started, make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at Strawberry Hill Podcast. And today I have my very first guest that I had on the Strawberry Hill Podcast, and it was back.
Round two.
Yeah, you hit me up and said, hey, it's what, melanoma month, mental health month?
Yep.
That's all these, or you just make them up?
No. No, it's, Melanoma Awareness Month, Mental Health Awareness Month, two things that, I deal with that I felt like.
Oh, I guess I should introduce you to people that don't know yet.
Yeah.
This is Timothy Grimes, or Tim Grimes, whatever.
I take Tim. I've been called worse. Yeah.
Called worse.
You have to earn the right to call me Timmy, though. That is one thing that I'm always.
I feel like, so to that. So people call me Mikey, but it's like only family. Like, I think if you're a grown man, you should never call me Mikey.
That's fair.
I feel like that with Timmy. Like, I don't think anyone should be like, "Hey, Timmy."
Right, and I definitely can't introduce myself as Timmy. I feel like. Jimmy, Billy, Bobby, Tommy.
Yeah,
those
Jimmy's
all work.
different.
Timmy is like a little kid.
Jimmy, that is different. I don't think anyone. What do you like, Jimmy or James?
I go by James, but ever since I ran the pizza shop.
Yeah.
Jimmy, but that's just easier to say.
Okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think Jimmy is kind of passed the test. I think Timmy and Mikey don't.
Yeah. Those if somebody introduced themselves as Timmy, I'd definitely judge them.
Mm-hmm. So how have things been, man?
Good.
You definitely got a new job since then.
Yeah, since the last time we spoke, got a new job, which has been great. I am a melanoma survivor. Part of my job is selling shade structures. So that's been really cool to just kind of.
I don't think that's all you do. Structures,
playground equipment, and shade structures. But just the fact that part of it is shade structures is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, playground equipment, park benches, trash receptacles, stuff like that. It's been cool. I cover the state of Kansas, so it's been fun, kind of checking out different towns in Kansas. And I'm always at a park with my dog, and so being able to contribute to parks has been fun as well. At this time last year, I was really kind of struggling to find the right job. I was ready for a career and had a lot of things I was looking for in a position, and this definitely checks off all those boxes. I also have a part-time job working at this awesome cigar lounge.
Hell yeah!
So yeah, if you haven't come in yet. Coming on Sundays.
Every other
Sunday.
Yeah.
But yeah, then started working at Slaps on their catering team. So this time a year ago, I couldn't find a job I like, and now I have three that I like.
Hopefully you don't gain 100 pounds.
That'll be the tough part. But yeah, so thanks for having me on because, I feel like as a melanoma survivor, I've got to spread the word, make sure people are taking care of their skin. Wearing sunscreen, getting skin checks. And honestly, at this point now, I'm just encouraging people to go to the physician once a year. Mm-hmm. If you don't even want to schedule with a dermatologist, at least go in and see somebody. Physicians will give you a good skin check. But, also, we're not getting any younger, and, sun damage ages you. So, if the threat of cancer doesn't scare you, maybe the threat of looking really old when you get older will scare you.
Except black people. Black don't crack.
Yeah. Lucky there, I guess. Don't have to worry about melanoma as much either.
No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, I definitely am, trying to take care of myself more. That's definitely something that's changed since my diagnosis. I guess my quick little story, in August of 2014, I was diagnosed with stage 4 melanoma and given 9 months to live. And it was in my, go big or go home, liver, lung, spine, lymph nodes, and brain, and all clear now.
So it was in all those areas.
Yeah. Yep. It started off.
I know we talked about this before, but I don't remember everything.
That's all right. Liver, lung, spine, and lymph nodes at first, then it spread to my brain later. So that was a lot of fun. And, and just kind of tying in the mental health part, it definitely took its toll on me. And I
Well, yeah, you got 9 months to live. It's not like you're like, I'm so happy about this diagnosis.
The thing, like, for me though, is like I did have fun. You know, a lot of people kind of express a lot of sympathy and stuff, and it's just like I can't help but have, and it is what it is attitude, because I feel like we all kind of have to go through something, and like, you know,
yeah, but a lot of people don't go through that.
No, but I feel like a lot of the emotions are the same. You know, anything that stresses you out and makes you unsure of your future is stressful and scary. So, you know, I feel like I had friends that were going through stuff that I didn't want to go through. So it's kind of all relative. And I feel like for me, it was just like my journey, you know, it's part of what I had to do. And, you know, honestly, like, just for me, the toughest or the scariest part was trying to figure out what I was going to do afterwards, and like not trying to sound like tough or anything, but I really wasn't afraid of death. Like, it was more dying that I was scared of, like the suffering to the point that I didn't want to be alive anymore, or just withering
I guess
away.
that makes sense. Yeah, and I think I'm like that too. It's like I'm not afraid of death. I'm afraid of dying.
Yeah, it's like I didn't want to suffer, and it's the cancer battle itself really didn't really include a lot of suffering. It was like afterwards, trying to get back on my feet, trying to figure out what I wanted to do, you know, just adjusting to life without cancer, because I was in survival mode for so long that like trying to get into thrival mode, if you will, was just as challenging. And, you know, just again, touching on the mental health part of it, like part of why I kind of have just a chill attitude about it is because I feel like there's always something, and like sometimes, you know, trying to just live your best life and be responsible, make good choices and all that is just as challenging as trying to beat cancer. So now, you know, it's still a struggle. You know, and
do you like ever have like fear that like you beat it, right? And is there ever that fear like, I don't know, like, is it going to come back or?
Yeah, kind of, but like it's my fear is just having to start over. Because like when I was diagnosed, I had basically started over then. Like I moved back from Ohio and I lived with friends for a little bit. You know, it took a while to find the job I liked, and then finally got an apartment, and then I felt like I kind of had to start all over. So I'm not necessarily afraid of it coming back. It's just more of like losing everything I've worked for.
Kind of go through that process again.
Yeah, and that's the part, like, if the physical part of cancer, like, yeah, it sucked, but like it was the mental struggle that was really the challenge. So I mean, like, you know, I have stitches in my leg right now. I had to get a spot removed last week. You know, pretty much every time. Yeah, I mean, it was a mole, and then they wanted to get margins. It's really, that happens probably once a year. I just have something removed, so it's like,
is that because of your diagnosis before, or is that just normal for people to have?
I'm probably more prone to it, yeah. But I just have a lot of moles in general, so they just want to be safe. And then, so what they'll do is just like shave off the mole, and then they'll biopsy it. And this one showed, you know, some melanoma, so they just wanted to get a bigger area. And the test results already came back, and it's clear, so it was just.
But it had melanoma.
Yeah, it was like pre-melanoma or something.
Jesus, doesn't it scare you?
The less I know, the better. Honestly, it's just like, okay, you know, do I got to come back in? You know, and I think like, I don't know. Honestly, it was. Yeah, there was a fear, and there still is a fear, but. It's
you kind of already went through like the biggest fear.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I mean, there's at this point, it's really like the cancer part is whatever. It's, you know, like I said, kind of just worrying about having to start over. Like my main fear, or the thing the fear I carry with me is just like always thinking something bad's about to happen.
Yeah.
Last year, you know, we usually do scans in August. And we actually hadn't done scans in a couple of years. We were just doing blood work and chest x-rays, and we were doing that every 6 months.
And you have to do that every year.
Yeah. So this time, or in August of last year, we were gonna start doing chest x-rays and blood work every year instead of every 6 months.
And is that just because you're a cancer survivor, or just because a normal person should do
No, definitely.
Okay, because I was like, I'm definitely
No. Yeah, they're keeping on. Honestly, the fact that it hasn't come back is just as unlikely that I beat it in the first place.
Yeah.
You know, and it's been several years of clear scans. So each year we get a little bit, kind of in a better safe zone, if you will. But yeah, I mean the thing for me, and so last year we were going to do blood work and chest X-rays, and then start doing that every year instead of every 6 months. And I was like, well, if we're going to, change the timeline, I want to do scans and make sure I'm completely clear, because also things were going really good last year at scan time. So I just started a new job, got my cool new bachelor pad. So that was legitimately the only time I was worried about it coming back, because things were good. Like that's kind of the part that messes with me. It just always kind of the fear of like, where's the bad news? Because a lot of that was good news and bad news. It was like, hey, good news, it's shrinking in other parts of your body, but now it's in your brain. Stuff like that. So yeah, well, he was a little better about it, saying it.
Good
but yeah,
news, but bad news.
It's definitely
it's everywhere except that area.
Right. I mean, pretty much. Yeah, there was just always something. And I think for me, like, I just kind of knew from the beginning that I didn't want to feel sorry for myself. If I only had 9 months to live, I wanted to try to make the best of it. So, I kind of just decided I'm going to be as optimistic as possible. And there was definitely some delusional optimism in there, but I feel like I kind of needed it, because there was, so much negativity that I needed to balance it out with positivity. And like, I just didn't want to spend time being scared, and I didn't want to spend time feeling sorry for myself. And like, I don't know, I almost, like I said, I really wasn't afraid of death. The only thing that really kind of kept me up at night was like, what am I going to do after this? Because I didn't really have a career beforehand, and I knew I wanted to make it worth it. So I was like, I don't want to go back to struggling. I don't want to have to keep starting over. Last month I was sitting right over there, shed a tear, because I was so just frustrated and exhausted with like trying to get ahead, and then something happens and
It's just life.
Yeah. It's just like, after a while, it's like, man, like I don't want to keep doing this. And that was kind of what happened after my cancer battle. Was, I was living with different friends, kind of couch surfing. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. I will say that I used to think about life like that, where just like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah.
And after like seeing a therapist for a while and kind of processing everything, it's like I kind of trained my mind to think different.
Right.
Like, if something bad happens, you're just like, oh, that sucks. But just like my day's fine, and this is why it's fine. Like, I woke up, I did this, I did that. Like, bad shit's gonna happen, but you can't let it ruin your day or your mind. Like, because like I used to be like, when something would happen, I'm like, fuck, I'm going to have a bad day. And then, like, I would just be waiting for something bad to happen.
You start to look for all the stuff.
Start to look for it.
I knew I was going to have a bad day. I stubbed my toe, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, oh, that sucks that happened. Like, just keep it moving. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not the easiest fucking thing to do.
Right. No, honestly, like, one of the things I tell myself when I'm kind of having similar experiences is like, this is what I stayed alive for. Part of being alive and living is going through bad shit. And
bad shit, good shit, but the good always outweigh the bad. But you always remember the bad,
right? Yeah, and that was kind of my main goal too, while battling cancer or trying to bounce back. Was like, I got to have more good days than bad days, and sometimes I put too much pressure on myself for that aspect of it. Like, if I have a bad day or I let something bother me, I'm like, damn it, like I just wasted time, and time is what I fought for.
Look at this: you beat cancer, you have 3 jobs. So you got a lot of work on your hands.
Yeah.
You live in an awesome house. You have an awesome view. You have an awesome dog, Doyle.
Come here,
he's
buddy.
sleeping.
Yeah,
Doyle's our shop dog, and you're good health, knock on wood. But like, everything's good.
Yeah, no, 100%. And honestly, Strawberry Hill, that's another thing I always take when I'm practicing gratitude. I always take note of that. Love this neighborhood. But yeah, there's still just kind of that fear, of like what's going to happen next. But yeah, I mean, practicing gratitude is huge for sure. Got to give a shout out to the shop too. This is a good third space to have.
Well, thank you.
No, dude, like for real. Like, I know I tell you this all the time, but I love it here. And it's funny. I was talking to a friend, I think it was last week. She was saying that, just as an adult, she has trouble making new friends. And I'm like, I don't really experience that because I always like make a new friend here. You know?
Everyone makes friends here.
Yeah, like, so if you need a place to come make a new friend, come hang out.
Hey, do you know, I don't mind talking about this in the podcast, Darius is back.
Oh, yeah, Darius.
Yeah, he came back yesterday.
Okay, good. Miss that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fun little community here. And, you know, like the other day when I was talking to you about my anxiety, you know, and you mentioned just having people to talk to, some of the conversations I've had here are like stuff I haven't shared with anybody else, you know, and it's nice
This
to
is
be
the best
like,
form of therapy.
100%.
Well,
yeah.
other than therapy.
Right.
The second best form of therapy.
Yeah, I mean, I have like 3 big lessons that I feel like I had learned, or advice I give is like, have fun, ask for help, and keep going. And the asking for help part is difficult. That was something that I definitely wish I had done more when I was battling cancer. But, you know, and I think asking for help, like how many times have I turned to you and be like, hey, do you mind if I bitch about some shit for a minute? That, you know, that's all it takes. Like just getting, a lot of times, you know, once I hear it out loud, I'm like, oh, I'll just be a little bitch. Like that's not even worth the effort.
You're a lot better than me. I got to fix that because I don't ask for help. Like it's bad. And like, I'll get to the point to where like if my mental health gets pretty bad, I'll finally reach out. But I wait too long. I know that's just how I am. And especially like working here, like I never ask for help to do anything, and I need to. Like I need to ask for help, and I have a really bad habit of that. I need to get better at that. You just mentioned that, and I was like, I need to do better.
Yeah,
at that.
no, it's something that I definitely like. I have a couple of friends that will either send videos back and forth or voice messages, and that's kind of a good outlet to just kind of talk about stuff and then bounce. You know, a lot of times. I think that was like the community part was something I learned a lot too while battling cancer, like having the right people around you. So a lot of times, you know, getting advice from somebody who is actually looking out for you is always good because sometimes they say stuff you don't want to hear, but you need to.
I do want to ask about that with your community because I went through some rock bottom times in my life that like really fucking sucked, just were horrible. Like I got to a point where I was like suicidal, depression, everything. But like it was weird because it was like when I was going through those bad times, it was like your group around you kind of morphs and changes. Like because some people you thought were friends are kind of just there, and then some people that you didn't think were friends are like the people that are checking in the most. Like did you experience that with like the cancer battle?
100%. Yeah, there was it definitely kind of weeded out the people that weren't supposed to be in my life.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like, you know, asking for help, like that's a good way to see who your real friends are. There were a lot of people that I would have just considered like drinking buddies that like stepped up and did more for me than, you know, other people. And so I think that was something that was like the bar kind of got raised on, you know, who I keep around me. You know, another thing I'm working on is just like setting boundaries. I'm kind of a people pleaser. And I think I kind of realized like, I don't like everybody. So why do I worry about being liked by everybody? You know, it's okay to look out for yourself. That was something, the people that stepped up and really took care of me, it was kind of like, all right, people like this are who need to be in my life. Anything less than that, it's not worth it. I mean, it's definitely helpful to have a good group of people around you. And I count this as well, because there's some great people I've become friends with.
Awesome people here. Like, I know if I ever have a problem, like I can, like, this is my tribe.
Yeah.
Like there's I have a lot of good friends that are in here that I've made that I can just sit down, like you said, and just talk to, and just like if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong, and they'll tell me I'm wrong.
Right.
Or like, they're like, yeah, you know what? That is fucked up. Like,
yeah. So. And you know, like, we're going to be 40 next year. I feel like something I'm learning is age doesn't always equal maturity. No. And there's a lot of people that I'm like, man, like, you're too old to be.
Yeah, there's people that are 60, 65 years old.
Yeah.
Like, you act like a baby.
I'm like, I don't want to be that guy. So now I have to work on myself, you know, and that is tough. It's tough for me, at least, to get out of my own way. I know better. It's just hard to do better sometimes. So that's a challenge. And that's why I kind of like, I feel like, you know, I probably downplay the cancer battle a little bit, but it's more just like, you know, like everything you just described, all those feelings you had, like that sucks just as much, you know? And like, I know I don't want to say I was like suicidal, but it's hard not to let your mind go to some dark places
100%.
when you don't want to suffer anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it's like not like I want to be dead. It's just like I don't want to go through this anymore. I don't want to
this
suffer
shit anymore.
And like for me, you know, just learning how to process stuff is difficult. It's hard to know how you're feeling when you can't articulate it. I will be getting back into therapy. I've always kind of been off and on. I haven't been able to be as consistent as I'd like, but you know, I think the cancer battle definitely changed my views on mental health. And you know, I now see a psychiatrist and take prescriptions for anxiety and depression.
That was going to be my next question, because you said it was like mental health month. Like, what are you doing to improve your mental health?
Gratitude, definitely a big thing. All those things you mentioned, you know, I think about all the time. You know, I try to be physical. I haven't been able to exercise as much as I'd like, but I know the more I take care of myself physically, the better I feel mentally. You know, so just eating right, exercising, and I really am shooting for fulfillment. That's kind of like the feeling I want to have, because I feel like happiness is hard to define, but like fulfillment can mean a lot of different things. And I know just being productive. Like I wrote on my dry erase board in my office at home that the harder I work, the better I feel. So knowing that like I put in an effort throughout the day, made the day worth it, made the time worth it, kind of definitely helps with my mental health. But also just being able to say like, I'm not doing good. Like, you know, I'm not feeling good. I
know there's a saying, and because I help out with like first responders and like, you know, the JFU meetings and like the retreats that I go to. And one of the big sayings we have, it's like, it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's important, and starting to like recognize certain feelings and knowing where they come from kind of helps deal with it. I think, you know, like I've learned a lot about myself just through the battle and through therapy and stuff that kind of helps me stay out, like get out of my own way sometimes. Or just knowing where a feeling comes from, it kind of helps to, you know, like realize maybe I'm not being myself, maybe I'm not thinking clearly. You know, like when you're going through tough times and you're in survival mode, like you don't always make the best decisions, you know, and you don't really think rationally.
Yeah.
And that was something that I dealt with a lot. Like I documented everything on Facebook. And so like when I look back at the memories now, it's fun, but it's also cringy. And I see some of the stuff that I was like excited about, or things I was doing, or just, you know, remembering where my mindset was. And it's like, yeah, I actually wasn't in a good place. I was trying really hard to make the best of it, but I was really faking it. And sometimes you got to fake it till you make it. But
I had the same thing, because like back in 2020, I was off work, and it wasn't because of COVID. It's like I got involved in a lot of bullshit. I got arrested, like shamed on social media and all this other stuff. It was like the worst time of my fucking life.
Dude, we got to talk about that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And like, I see like the memories pop up that were like, hey, remember when this happened? And I'm just like, that was when I was suicidal and depressed, and I was faking it. And I was like, it was the worst time of my life. And I'm like looking at myself like I can see it, but I'm sure no one else can see it. I'm just like smiling with my family or kids or something. I was like, I was miserable back then.
No, same. I mean, that's, you know, I think the thing that really took its toll on me was that like I wasn't independent. I was relying on other people, and that sucks. You know, I want to be able to take care of myself. And that's where I was trying to get back to. Like, that was my motivation to keep going. It was like, hey, you know, at some point, Dexter and I are going to have our own apartment again, you know, and I'm going to have a job, and I'm going to take care of myself. Because when you can't take care of yourself, that sucks, you know? So yeah, I mean, sorry you had to go through that, and I'm glad.
No, but
glad
you know what?
powered through.
And I know you probably look at this the same way. It's like, if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be here where I'm at today.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm happy where I'm at. I love doing what I'm doing. Like, I don't think I would be happy, like, if I didn't go through that, because I'd still be like, because going through all that kind of made me really put my mental health in like the forefront.
Right.
And then like kind of like picking and choosing what I want in life. And I chose me like happiness in my life is number one thing, not me trying to please people.
Sure,
And that's what I was
yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
Like, I was checked out, and like the problems start happening, and like it's just like I was having problems at home, problems at work. Like I just became this person I wasn't.
Right.
And I didn't figure out what was going on. Like, I was battling with PTSD, and I didn't even know what I was doing, or I didn't know I was going through it. And so I don't think I think if I didn't go through what I did, I would either still be miserable there, or I would have killed myself or killed somebody that I shouldn't have, because I just wasn't in the right mindset.
Right.
So I'm so glad that I hit rock bottom, because like I said, I don't think I would be where I'm at today.
Sure.
And like happier and like better and mentally better, and like
you gained a lot of strength from it. Too,
yeah.
you know?
And then it makes you a better person. It's so hard, because like I know when I was going through it, like I didn't want to hear that, because it's hard when you're going through some shit and you're at rock bottom, and people are like, this is going to make you better.
Right.
Like, you're going to come out fine. Like, well, it's not right. Like, that's not now. It sucks right now. But it's like, you kind of look back, you're like, oh yeah, I guess they were right.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and yeah, like that's exactly, like there's so many people, oh, it'll get better, and you just don't want to hear that. Like, and for me, after hearing that stuff for so long, or being in that mindset for so long, it's really hard to keep going. But you have to. And that's, when I have people that will reach out to me because they're battling cancer, or, they know somebody that's battling cancer, and like, I always just kind of say, like, be optimistic. Like, and I know that sounds so cliche, but it's also not for me. Like, I think I have a different outlook than most people on a lot of stuff. But when I tell people to be optimistic, it's not necessarily to change the outcome, because I know people that were loving life more than me. They're more positive than I could ever be, and unfortunately, cancer took them.
Yeah.
But if you're optimistic throughout the shit, it makes it that much better, or it makes it a little bit better. So I think for me, like when I tell people, like, hey, just be optimistic, because like, the time's gonna pass anyway. Might as well make the best of it. And it is tough though.
Well, then it's just, you also got to think too, like, and I know this kind of sounds crazy, but it's like, if just because you're like, if you feel like it's not going to get any better, it's like, that's not going to make you better. And it's like your feelings aren't going to make you better. So you just got to like trust the science and be optimistic, and like, life is life.
Yeah.
Like you said, like it's going to like be optimistic. Like, hey, I'm going to beat this. And if not, I'm going to enjoy my life.
Right.
Like you just can't be like, well, this sucks. And they're like, yeah. And that's going to make things better. No.
Right. Absolutely. And that's where I was at. Cause like, I was doing treatment and doing everything the doctor told me to, but I was also having fun. So there were a lot of times like, I can't believe you're partying so much. It's like, dude, I'm dying. Like, I'm doing something I don't want to do, which is battling cancer. So I'm going to do stuff I do want to do.
That makes like a good pickup line. I don't know if you use that. Like, hey, I don't know if you know, I'm dying, so this is my one shot.
Yeah, I might have to try that.
Well, you can't do it now.
Hey,
Hell, I got 2 months to live. Like, I really just want to, see if we can progress things. And then they see you 2 years later, like, wait a minute. Like, hey, sorry, I thought I was dying.
I mean, like like I said, the dying part really wasn't, or the death part wasn't what scared me, but the dying, or like, the thought of just suffering. Like, one of the things that really took its toll on me is survivor's guilt. I had kind of accepted that I was going to die. So that's what made it easier to like live was, I think last time I was on, I had mentioned something about, it wasn't until I was dying that I felt like I was living, because like at that time there was a stretch where like I didn't give a fuck. I didn't care what people thought about me, and I wasn't like being mean or hurting anybody. It was just kind of like let go of that people pleasing part and just, did what made me happy. And that did bother a lot of people, because there's a lot of times where it's like, I just don't want to do that. Like, I don't have that. My days are numbered and I don't want to spend my time doing that. And that's something that like I'm trying to incorporate again into my life, is just being able to say, hey, no, like, I actually don't want to do this. I'm getting better. Yeah. But just kind of going back to talking it out. Like, there's times I know I've asked you, like, dude, am I being an asshole right now? It's like, no, you're just setting boundaries. Like, okay, good. Cause I'm not used to this feeling, and I don't want to actually hurt anybody's feelings, but at the same time, it's kind of on them.
You would rather be honest and upfront than the bullshit people. And then you get to a point where you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. It sucks. They're like, why did you tell me?
Yeah. And like, if I am not actually being mean. If I'm just saying something they don't want to hear, that's on them to figure out how to deal with it, you know, like, and so I think setting boundaries is definitely something that's been helping with mental health, you know, just in living my best life. Cause there was a lot of stuff I just never addressed, you know. I feel like when you go through, at least for me, you go through something traumatic, it kind of like makes you look at other traumatic stuff you've been through or what you're going through before. And there was just a lot of stuff that I just wasn't dealing with, you know, and like now I'm more aware of what I need to deal with, or just knowing that there's stuff I need to work on.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because all my shit, like when I saw my therapist and talked about all my PTSD shit with the sheriff's office and all the shootings I've been through and the people dying in front of me, yada yada. And it's like, oddly enough, like all those problems that I was dealing with, like, somehow went back to my childhood. I'm like, wait a minute, like this, that's not supposed to happen.
No, that I'm in the same boat, man. That's a lot of stuff I gotta work on or deal with from my childhood, and it's like, you know, my approach used to be like, why would I deal with my feelings when I could just drink alcohol, you know, like, but now it's like, okay, let's actually deal with this stuff.
I used to do the same thing. It's like I can just drink and I don't have to think about it, and then the problems will go away, and it just makes it worse and worse, and worse and worse.
That was the where I'm at now and where I was 10 years ago, definitely handling things a little bit differently. But you know, it is tough. Like sometimes it is just easier to drink or do whatever than deal with the problems. And like, you know, I've had to learn the hard way that actually doesn't make anything better.
Well,
like
you're
you
like
said,
me,
it just makes
though.
it worse.
You're like me now, where like me and you hardly ever drink.
Right.
It's like I'll drink once in a blue moon, or like once a month, or once every other month, or once every 3 months. I don't know.
Right. No, that's a big that has helped my mental health big time, is just not drinking. You know, and like I don't care if other people do. Lately I've just been like, no, it's just not really.
That's one of the most annoying. I don't have a lot of people in my circle that like pressure me to drink, which I appreciate. But it's like, you know, when you get around those people, who are just like, I don't want to drink. Like, why not?
I
like,
hate
come
that.
on, man, just drink one. Man.
It's almost like they don't know you. Well, what do you mean you're not drinking? Like, it's like, dude, you can still do whatever you want. I'm just going to drink a Diet Coke instead. Like, it does.
Like me having a beer in my hand is not going to make you more fun. Like,
right.
It's fine.
Right.
Like,
it is weird. That is something that's always bothered me, just kind of on principle. It's like, hey, I'm 39 years old. I just said no. Like, and that's it. Like, you don't need to try to pressure me into it. And it is interesting now, like, you know, before I was kind of just focused on having fun. And like, now that I'm trying to focus on like happiness and fulfillment, I have to make a lot of sacrifices. And like, you know, drinking was one of those things, or alcohol was just like, yeah, I think if I really want to be happy and fulfilled, I need to not drink, or definitely not as much as I was. Yeah. I mean, stuff comes up all the time. Like, I was watching Stranger Things, and
which
they mentioned
one of the best shows.
I love it. Yeah, I was a little late to the party, but I finally sat down and watched it. It was
Are you caught up?
Yeah, I'm all good. Yeah, caught up now. But
you know, this next season is their last season.
Yeah. Is it coming out this year?
I don't know.
Is it 26?
It might. I don't know. But they just came out today, and they said each episode is going to be like 2 hours long.
Oh, nice.
It's going to be like a. They said it's going to be like a movie each episode.
Interesting.
Like, nice. Sorry.
No, it's all right. I was going to say that there was something they referenced in there called the anniversary effect that I had never heard of, and I wasn't sure if it was real, but I looked it up, and it's just like
100%
basically, yeah, the anniversary of traumatic events can kind of stir those emotions again. And
my shit is in December and in June.
Mine's like 360 days a year, but
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
springtime for sure. Yeah, March, April, May for me, and that's like when my brain stuff happened. Like, had to have radiation one year and then surgery the next year. So it's like, and honestly, that was like, once I recognized that helped.
Yeah,
you know, because sometimes you're just like, oh, I just feel like shit. I'm gonna feel like shit. It's like,
yeah, because like once it's like right before Christmas, like I just start like just feeling like shit. Not like physically, just like mentally, I'm like starting to check out, and I'm like I don't like, why am I feeling so depressed, and why like I can't do anything, and I hate life. And I'm just like, oh, that's when the whole arrest shit happened. And then in June, it's like when like the two deputies pretty much like got killed, like, and I was the first one there, and I was like, so it's like right around June, I'm just like why do I feel all this anxiety and like all this stuff? Like, oh, that's why.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's that I always just, I feel like for me, like, remember that think it was Xanax commercial where there was like the cloud that felt like the little cloud that was hanging over somebody's head, and they were all like, that's kind of how I feel. Like there's just like a dark cloud, or just kind of blue is another word. I just feel blue. And you know, it sucks, but like recognizing it is great, because then you can kind of do things to try to balance it out. And for me, you know, kind of like everything we talked about, just practicing gratitude, trying to take care of myself physically and mentally. But it's tough. I mean, it's definitely a lot of work. And that's, like, again, just kind of going back to the cancer thing. It's like people give me all the sympathy, but it's like, man, like I still feel like I'm dealing with the same emotions as far as just fear and, you know, struggle to keep moving or keep going. And it's tough. Like there's definitely, you know, a lot, like another thing I deal with a lot of survivor's guilt, you know, just because there are other people that I met. I mean,
I was just about to ask you, like, how many people?
dude,
Sorry, I should be talking to Scarman now.
some of them were kids, man, that
fuck.
you know, and it just like I said, I had accepted that I was going to die. Like I was optimistic that I was going to beat it. In fact, like if there was any time I ever actually believed in myself, it was then. But it was also like, because I accepted that I was going to die, it was kind of like, might as well be positive, you know. But then, yeah, you know, I met people that had like less cancer than me, had better odds of surviving, and they're not here. And so that always hit me too, it was like, oh, maybe this is going to take me, you know? And so like, but a lot of times I would just try to feel that and then use it as motivation to work harder, stay more positive and keep moving. But yeah, I mean, like figuring out ways to balance all that out is definitely tough. And luckily there's prescription drugs and therapists out there that have been helping me. But yeah, it's a struggle, man. I mean, like we were talking about the other day when we had a cigar out there, and I asked you, like, how do you deal with your anxiety? Like, I think that kind of just practicing gratitude. I don't know, I'm repeating myself now, but I got distracted, but lost my train of thought. But
did you ever, when you were going through everything, was there ever like a religious aspect that you were dealing with, like, God, why me? Or like, now I'm religious, or getting more in religion, like praying more?
My views kind of stayed the same. I never really had a why me attitude, because I felt like why not me? Like I'm not special, you know? And if anything, I would have traded places, you know, like I said, any of those kids, I would have gladly, you know, traded places with them. But yeah, I mean, I just kind of kept doing what I was doing. I was just like, I'm going to stay positive. I'm going to have fun. It did, you know, there are some probably bigger worldviews that were affected by my diagnosis and my battle. But I think overall, I, you know, kind of stayed the same as far as just my way of thinking and like what I believed in and all that. But, you know, I know obviously a lot of people do turn to religion or you know, lean more into their faith. I think whatever you got to do to stay positive and keep moving forward. I think for me, it was just more of like what I could, what am I trying to say here? Sorry. I guess just like knowing the power of the right support group, you know, keeping the right people. Like I trusted my doctors, you know, I trusted my friends. There was one time, one of my friends who was there for me through a lot of the bad stuff. I had steroid psychosis where like I was pretty much hallucinating.
Steroid psychosis.
Yeah. Where basically just, I think another term for it is
like
tripping
100
balls. Yeah. I gained like 100 pounds on steroids, and yeah, I was like literally tripping balls. And,
why is that?
Side effects from the medicine. It definitely, it's weird because like steroids, like roid rage is a real thing, but there was also times where I was like very euphoric and like creative. So there's like parts of the drug, I feel like if they isolated it, it could be, you know, beneficial in other ways, I guess. But I mean, that's how it felt, man. Like there was like one time my brain like literally broke and I had to be admitted I was hallucinating. My friend was,
this is legit.
Yeah.
You had to get what?
Like I so I wish she was here to tell the story, but I was hallucinating
broke.
and just like pacing around her house, talking to people, like talking to Tom Hanks. And like, I was legit like hallucinating. And then I like all of a sudden came to, like, this was like 2 a.m. My friend had called my nurse. And then like by time I got on the phone with her, she's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, what are you talking about? I'm just chilling." And then my friend told me like what happened the last 4 hours. And like she said, she could see me like losing weight because I was just like sweating and I was just like pacing around her house. Like I don't remember any of it. So then they admitted me to the hospital, and after that I was like, I don't even trust my decision making anymore. So like, you know, I had to meet with all these different doctors, and I'm like, I'm not making any decisions unless my doctor signs off on it. Dr. Doolittle, believe it or not.
That's such an odd name.
I feel, dude, it all seems so surreal that's another aspect of it. Like, am I dreaming? Has this whole thing like
I have the real Dr. Doolittle.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that was definitely a scary time where it's like, I don't know if I'm actually rational right now. And I still feel like that sometimes, which is why I rely on so many other people's opinions and input on any decision making, really. But yeah, it was definitely a journey, man. There's a lot of stuff I just don't remember. I think the drugs had a lot to do with it, but I think when you're in survival mode,
The drugs that were prescribed.
yeah. Just being in survival mode, I feel like just affects a lot of things. And I think for me, there's a lot that I just don't remember. And yeah, it could be any of the drugs, just stress, anxiety, blocking stuff out, whatever. But it is a bummer because there's a lot of like, there's stuff that'll pop up on Facebook. I just straight up don't remember. And it's like, I'll have these long articulate posts talking about this fun event. And I'm like, I don't even remember that. Then of course there's a lot of stuff I don't remember because of drinking, but that was self-induced. So I can't get, you know, mad at anybody but me. But yeah, I mean, I think affecting my mental health, or the way it affected my mental health, I think was kind of the unexpected or unaccounted for side effect that like now I'm kind of dealing with. Like I said, just trying to thrive is just as challenging as trying to survive sometimes. You know, overall, like right now, yeah, I'm in a much better place, but there's still times when I just don't want to get out of bed, or you know, I don't want to deal with anybody. I don't want to go to work. And honestly, Doyle and Dexter that I had while battling cancer, like if it wasn't for Dexter, man, I really don't know how bad my mental health would have gotten. Like,
Dogs are special, man. R.I.P. Dexter.
And you know, again, trying to just incorporate lessons I learned from cancer to now. Like, we were doing scans every 3 months, so I was kind of learning to just take things 3 months at a time. So, like, you know, not to sound like a podcast bro, but like if you think about where you want to be in 3 months, and then like work backwards, like, okay, what do I have to do today and tomorrow to get there? That's something that kind of helps with anxiety too. It's just like breaking things down and taking things one step at a time. And, you know, kind of going back to Dexter, like there were times when I didn't want to get out of bed, but I had to let him out, you know? And so like, it was like, okay, well, I stood outside with him while going to the bathroom. Tomorrow I'm going to try to walk him, you know, and then I'm going to try to take a shower. I mean, it was really like that type of stuff that really all I could do was get up and let him out and go to the bathroom.
Yeah, you're very goal oriented, and I think that's a really good thing. Because like, even with the stuff about the car, you're like, I'm not going to drink until I get my car. I'm going to save up money, and I'm going to do this and that. And like, you set goals for yourself.
I try. Yeah, that's something that another part of the fulfillment. It's like, it is fun to like meet those goals. You know, I mean, a lot of mine are pretty simple. I don't like to overcomplicate it, but I do always feel like I have to have something to work towards. And that was kind of what kept me going too when I was battling, was like, you know, hey, I'm going to eventually get back on my feet and have my own place. You know, the biggest struggle, like I said, was just figuring out what I wanted to do after. And like, I was like, oh, I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to do a documentary. And like, I thought I was going to do all these big things because I was able to beat cancer. And then like things kind of got worse. Like once the cancer was out of me, it was real. For me, the real struggle began because I was trying to like get back on my feet, get back to being healthy. And so just like having all these big ambitions and then none of them really coming true definitely took its toll on me too, because I was starting to like,
you still can do all those things.
Yeah, but I also don't want to now. I think like at the time it was just like, yeah, I'm going to beat cancer and then be the guy that does all this. And now I'm like, I just want to keep things simple and chill and go camping with Doyle. Yeah,
go talk about camping. Now that's your new hobby.
I mean, I only spent 15 hours a couple weeks ago, but yeah, now I'm all about it. I think, you know,
I wouldn't mind camping. I just don't like the fact that like, I don't like the bugs and all that shit like I got to deal with. Like, I don't mind being in nature and like but it's like you put up you put black people in the middle of the woods when it's dark. Like, I'm not trying to be the first person to die or anyone to die.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, it's for me. It's just about like no noise. You know, I mean, I love my house, but I'm right by the fucking highway, and so like just cars all the time. You know, and like so just being out in nature with him and only hearing birds and whatever else. Like
Where have you been?
Just God, put me on the spot. Where was it? Baldwin City. There was a place out there, and then now, you know, getting the car was like a goal, but camping in Colorado after that was like the main goal. It's like I gotta get a car first so I can go camping in Colorado, and then yeah, hoping for next month or July. You know, like I've been bitching about, I got to pay the taxes on my car. So
yeah, brand new car. Yeah,
yeah, like that's the part. I mean, you know, yeah, I should be grateful that I have a new car and all that, but it's not, like took me all year to save that money and now it's gone. You know, it's just like it's that's probably a different conversation on how things are going these days. But yeah, it's definitely good to have goals, and I'm glad to hear you say that because I don't really feel like I'm like a goal setter. I think it's just I just find stuff to like keep me motivated. But I guess I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I feel like if you're not growing like as a person, you're standing still or even going backwards. And I think kind of going back to age doesn't always equal maturity. I know for me, like I don't want to be that 60-year-old that's, why is this guy acting like this? Aren't you a little too old for that?
You also don't want to be the 60-year-old like, I wish I would have did this.
Absolutely. And I think that's where, I put pressure on myself sometimes too, because I might waste a day and I'm like, man, like I could have been more productive or I could have more fun, whatever. But I think, just that gratitude thing, I think that's what it kind of always comes back to is just appreciating what you have. And if you don't like where you're at, then you got to make the changes, and that's the tough part.
Thanks, Vanna White.
Ah, thank you, sir.
Or Vanna White. You need to go camping one of these days to, I don't know all the places, but like you need to go to where there's like no light pollution, so you can like see like legit like what the stars look like.
Yeah, so when I went a couple of weeks ago, she had directed me to this spot that was going to be really good stargazing, but it was cloudy. I was bummed about that. But yeah, just being out there with Doyle. I did not smoke anything by the fire because I was in Kansas. So it would have been really fun to just light up and lay out under, in the tent with my dog.
No one would have found you in the middle of nowhere.
Hey, I respect the law. Okay?
Yes,
I was in Kansas.
Of course.
I did not bring 3 joints with me and smoke them by the fire.
No,
I would never do that.
No.
But yeah, now that's kind of another, just something to work towards. Cause like, again, going back to sacrifices, like now I think of things in terms of like cigars or camping, stuff that makes me happy, where I'm like, man, all that money I spent on booze or going out, it's like part of.
It's like I want to spend my money on experiences now.
Yeah, exactly. And
like that's an experience
for sure. Yeah, and that was what when I was battling cancer, there were so many experiences that I'm like, I can't believe this is happening right now. And so that's just kind of when we were out there, it was like, hey, we're just hanging out in Baldwin City, Kansas. Who would have ever thought? And like little stuff like that. For me, it's just fun, doing something that I wouldn't have thought I'd be doing, or just, there's a lot of life out there. There's a lot of places to travel, a lot of people to meet. And I think for me, that's where my happiness and fulfillment comes from.
So what are your new goals? I know you got goals.
Yeah, man, I don't know.
Goals.
The camping thing, going to Colorado is the next main goal. I've got a list of places after Colorado that I want to hit. Arkansas is on the list for camping. But yeah, travel is the main thing. That's really what I want my money to go towards. So right now camping is what I'm focusing on because, again, stressing out about money for the car. And then after that, we'll see. But I know I want to keep traveling. I really like my new job. So that's part of it. Like I've been studying new goals every week on like, how many calls I want to make and how many stops I want to make and stuff like that. So making the best of the job, because I do feel like it's exactly what I was looking for. I get to work from home most of the time. If I'm not at home, I'm on the road, and I do like driving. Sometimes it does get a little boring, but like when I was a
You're
chauffeur,
used
you
to
know.
driving, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's really not a big deal. I like that, and again, just being in random cities that I never would have thought I'd be in. It's nowhere exotic, but I'm still traveling, and still meeting new people and seeing new places. But yeah, now after Colorado, I got to figure out what I want to do for my Christmas trip. 'Cause I'm trying to do a big Christmas trip every year.
Didn't you want to? You said you want to go. What is like? Was it you said you want to go to Paris or something?
Well, yeah, I was gonna like New York and Paris were on my bucket list, but now I think I'm gonna wait until I have a
You've been to
special
New
lady.
York.
I did New York was awesome.
You gotta go to Paris now.
Yeah, but I think I want to save that for like a special. If I have my special someone, I was gonna go by myself,
go.
but
Just go. Maybe you'll meet that special one.
yeah, I don't know. I'd be.
Like, bonjour. Hello.
I definitely want to do like a solo trip to a city I've never been in, but
maybe
I feel
not
like
Paris.
Yeah,
I guess you're right.
yeah, I might save that one. It'll probably be more fun with a special lady. But gotta see if I can find anybody. On that note, dude, I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna put you on the spot in front of the millions of people watching.
Christ.
When I
The millions of people
finally
watching.
get married, will you be one of my groomsmen?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, like stuff like this, like, dude, our sidewalk sessions, like,
That's my favorite.
I love that. That was a good one the other day too. Met some new people, and like
Charlie.
Oh, yeah.
Charlie came out.
Charlie Ryan, the Prince of Strawberry Hill.
You know what's funny? Charlie Ryan, great. Everyone knows him in Strawberry Hill. He did it again when I sat out there like a couple days after that. He came up to me, "Hey, what's up, man? I'm Charlie." I'm like, Charlie, I've met you. Like I meet you all the time. Like I've known you for the last 15 years.
Did he ever? Has he played rock paper scissors?
Oh
with you
yeah,
yet?
he always tells me.
Yeah.
I think he always does rock. I think or scissors. I forgot which one.
Oh, he
tells me like, or he'll tell you like, I always do rock. So you better
gives you a way to win.
Yeah.
He's so sweet. I love that guy. That's again like.
But yeah, I literally sat down with him. Like I know we did that day, but we sat down for like almost an hour and just talked. And he did the same thing. What's your name? Like my name is Mike, man. Like how do you keep forgetting me?
Oh, Charlie. Just another character that makes Strawberry Hill so awesome.
Strawberry Hill is awesome.
I like anytime I bring somebody down here, they're like, I didn't know this part of the city existed. And now we got the ice cream shop and like new bars coming in. I feel like we live in a movie. Like we got bookstore and barber shop. It definitely feels like what's the Mayberry? Is that the
Mayberry,
Andy Griffith show?
It's a little different than Mayberry.
Yeah. I don't know if they had as many gunshots in Mayberry.
Those are just wake up calls. Just trying to-
it's funny. Like I sadly just part of the ambiance now.
Everyone gets used to it.
Yeah, just like
Everyone's like, I know there's some people in here like, is that gunshots? I was like, no one's dead. They just shoot in the air and they kind of just are having fun. Like,
we don't have to worry about fireworks or gunshots. We know what the answer to that question
Yeah,
is.
and then everyone around here knows the difference.
yeah.
Is that fireworks? No. Like, or like that gunshots? Like, no, it's fireworks. Well, it's October. Like, yeah, we just shoot fireworks.
We never,
there's no stopping.
We don't need a special occasion.
So do you plan on staying on the hill?
Man, I'd love to. Yeah. I see. It's funny. It's talking about goals. Like buying a house keeps getting further and further down on my list. Considering how long it took me to save for the car, and like, I don't want to move again. Like, I definitely want to stay on the hill. Just, I don't know if I'm ever gonna. I don't know if I can save up enough money to buy a house. And kind of going back to like, I think of things in terms of camping or cigars. It's like, I'd rather any extra money I make now, I'd rather spend that on experiences instead of just saving it like a loser. Like I'm not going to be responsible. Yeah, man, I love Strawberry Hill. Like,
Special
how did you just patrolled? Is that kind of how you started to know of it, or were you like spend time down here off the clock?
The honest answer. So, in 2018, after the two deputies that got killed, like the whole incident I was involved with, that night, everyone went to Chicago's to kind of have a drink. And I went out there and I was like, wait a minute, like this area is kind of cool. And like, I've been to Chicago's and kind of been like around like before, but I never really spent a lot of time down here.
Gotcha.
And so went down there and I was like, I like it. And then I kind of start coming like to bars around here a little bit more. And like I used to go to Mockingbird and Chicago's. Those are like my two spots. And I've been to 403, but like Mockingbird Chicago's was like really where I was going to, and I kind of just like fell in love with the area because I used to go to like Westport and stuff all the time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then I was just like, yeah, it's not my crowd. And not that I was like a huge drinker in 2018 because I was past my prime.
Right.
But like when I would go out, and I'm like, I wanted somewhere chill, and then like I wanted to go somewhere where like I knew some people, but then I didn't know everybody, or I didn't know nobody. Like I wanted to at least like talk to somebody at least if I was going to go out, and I knew it was like a safe place, and so I just like Chicago's was like my jam for a long time. Shout outs to Chicago's.
Love Chicago's.
Yeah. But then I just like kind of fell in love with the neighborhood, and then like the whole cigar shop, like when I wanted to open one up, which kind of started back in like 2016 ish. And I just didn't, really wasn't a thing until I got closer to me knowing I was going to leave the sheriff's office or wanting to leave. And I was like, I don't know. I didn't know where to open one up. But then I was just like, well, this area is perfect. Like I love it down here, and there's really nothing around, and like it's an up and coming area. And it's like I'm still in Wyandotte County because I wanted to open something up in Wyandotte County because I'm from here.
Right.
Like just this is my place. I want to spend my money here. I want to invest here. And I was like, well, I'm not going to do the Legends because I live out there now, and it's just too expensive.
Yeah.
And like, I love it out there, but it's like, I'm not spending, $15,000 of rent. No fucking way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I found this, like I always tell people, I got lucky to find this building. This was exactly what I wanted. Exactly to a T. I walked in and immediately I was like, this is it.
You did such a good job with it. And it's like I said, it's such a good like third space, and like, I think I mentioned it the other day. Like I wouldn't, if you were to ask me like who my closest friends were, I probably wouldn't name anybody here right off the bat. But then like at the same time, these are the people I talk about real life stuff with and all that. It's been over 6 years now living down here. I don't see myself going anywhere else. I lived in Columbus Park pre-cancer when I was diagnosed, and I was looking for something kind of similar. It was kind of had a small town feel right next to downtown. And then, coming here, I was like, oh yeah, this is it. And now, we've got people we see on our walks every day, and like,
I'm like you, like either I'll go to the gym or I'll take a walk around. Like today I just took a walk, and like, it was like a 30-45 minute walk, and I saw like 6 people I knew.
Dude,
I love this.
It's fun. And like, I feel like even if you have like beef with somebody or there's somebody you don't like, I feel like there's still that community aspect of like, we might not get along, but we're going to respect each other because, it's a small town. I really do feel like that small town community vibe from it. And I've, like I said, been here long enough to start to meet a lot of the neighbors and know a lot of people, and it makes it fun, man. And I love like just walking Doyle and starting to smell the cigar smoke coming out.
I gotta go in.
And then like
Doyle, wake up.
It is pretty funny. He will always just like every time we walk by, he'll start to walk towards the door.
He's out.
Yeah, like hearing the live jazz too, just walking, like it's
that's
great.
one of my favorite things. It's like there he is. Oh, you wake up to that. Come here. Try to get him over here.
Doyle, come here, buddy.
We got like a couple minutes left.
There we go.
Come here, big boy.
Like, hey, I was napping.
Yeah, this is the shop dog. Like I said, my next shirt's going to be, I know Doyle.
Hell yeah. Yeah, he's been, part of, like, just like Dexter was, like.
Besides not paying attention.
He keeps me going too. It's anytime I'm having a bad day, like he still needs his walks, and so I take him on a walk and I always feel better.
It's the best thing about dogs. It's like they can care less if you're having a good day or bad day. They're going to love up on you.
Right. I got lucky between him and Dexter. I'm 2 for 2 on awesome dogs. That's just another thing to practice gratitude.
Yeah.
Like I got my buddy here.
Buddy, we did an hour.
Did we?
Flew
by. I guess so. Get your skin checked, protect your skin, and take care of your mental health. Like
mental health.
There's a lot of stuff, man, that like you don't address it, it'll kill you. Maybe not like physically, but kill potential for living your best life. And like I said, learning how to get out of my own way and figure out like why I do certain things has definitely been helpful. It's still challenge to like overcome that stuff, but totally worth the effort.
Yeah.
And
Well, this has been a good second episode.
I hope so.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of just black out and start talking. So
It's all good, man. Well, no, man. Appreciate you coming on. It's been a
always, man.
pleasure.
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah.
And every other Sunday, come in and see me, or just stop
See
in here
Tim
sometime.
at the shop.
Or go to Slaps. You won't see me there, but you should support him anyway. They're
And
so
order
good.
equipment at Fry.
Yeah, if you need playground equipment or shade structures, give me a shout.
All right. Well, appreciate you, Doyle, the shop dog. I tell people, I was like, you let dogs in? I was like, I let Doyle
You
in.
let a dog in, yeah. You gotta earn it. Yeah, he is a pretty good shop dog, right? Like,
Yeah.
he just hangs out and chills.
You just stay in here. All right. Thank
All
you
right.
guys for tuning in. Like I said, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure you follow us on social media platforms at Strawberry Hill Podcast. Make sure you get your skin checked, mental health checked, scans, all the stuff Tim said. I don't know what else you said.
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Have fun.
And-
Keep going.
And come to the shop every other Sunday.
Come to the shop.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time.